And I invented my own shloka for him. Damod. I won't do it because like a Jnanam Peetham Mausonam Majordanam Goanam. Yay! That sort of thing. I was just doing it in my head, so happy that it had been given, I think, to someone who genuinely interacts. I mean, I think long before the global local thing began to be said, Bhai took it upon himself to make his local the global. In the sense that every time, see, I think I'm so delighted for Daisy Rockwell and so delighted for Gitanjali Shri. I'd be delighted if Bhai got the Booker tomorrow. But those are really peripheral and they're superficial. Really. Sigrid Undset. You've heard of her? She got the Nobel Prize. Okay? I managed to get 6 weeks in Norway to live in her house because I told the man who was from Norway that I'd read Sigrid Undset as a child, and he couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe that a Goan boy had read Sigrid Undset. I'm only mentioning this because I'm thinking an award is wonderful, but really the book has to settle into the library of your heart. Once it's in there, then it is very nice if someone gives it an award. It's wonderful. But it is, there are hundreds of thousands of books that have not got awards, right? So I think it is very important for us to, I remember Carmeline as a moment of change for me. There were details in it which were so specific, so vibrant, that this was not just an act of compassion for a woman who'd gone abroad and suffered. And, you know, she was a workhorse woman. Carmeline is a workhorse woman. I see them all over Goa. I see Susegad men and workhorse women. Like, you know, the man is like peaceable, and the woman is making pickle and getting the children ready and doing this and that and the other and salting the fish and like running every single thing, like doing all the work. So my thing is, for me, Carmeline was an eye-opener. It was the kind of startling book that you suddenly realize shines light into this moment of a certain kind of life which we've ignored, consciously sort of wiped out from our heads. And in each successive book, I found these moments of illumination. So if Bhai gets the Nobel Prize, I'd be delighted, and I'm hoping that he will. But if he doesn't, it's in my head. He's already a Nobel Prize winner. For me, he's already part of the canon. He's already important as a writer. And I think this is what we need to do. We need to give our own Nobel Prizes inside our head to the people we love and to the books that we love. And if some jury, I've sat on juries. I know how these things are done. It's not important. Yeah? So I'm going to read just a short, brief passage from the new novel. It, remember, is a work in progress.
Meanwhile, you see, I not a single writer, I would say, write for awards. So I understand these feelings behind wishing me the best for Booker and Pulitzer and Nobel, but I would rather prefer not to get them. Because Jnanipith I got about 4 or 5 months back, and I have not been able to write a single word since then. They are haunted by other things. Anyway, so I don't want it. I want to devote whatever little time that I have to my writings. Now, over to Jerry.
Yeah. I'm going to read from the beginning because it's a trope that my family shares with this fictive family, which is an addiction to tea and a belief that when things are good, you drink tea. When things are bad, you drink tea. And when things are neither good nor bad, but just boring, you drink tea again, because then that sort of generally calms things down. That urge for a cup of tea. I lit the gas and put the water to heat. Bubbles. Eureka. Bit my tongue before I could remember Archimedes. Arts and science had seemed like two separate silos to me. But when I learned how to make tea, I understood how deep the relationship between the two is. It did not matter to me how the tea became tea. Rather, I wanted to know what that tea was going to be like on my tongue. I could hardly wait before going through the motions. And then the cup raised to my lips, the first sips, the calm, the peace, through the body. Arey, I can smell tea. If you've made some, bring me a cup. My mother called from within. I added some water. This is a lovely moment in the Konkani where I've translated it right now as gave it some bubbles, because that's what we say, right? Gave it some bubbles. Obviously, when I'm doing it again, I'll think about it, but this is my first draft where I just let myself enjoy the language that it's come from and leave a bit of it there. Gave it some bubbles, a splash of milk, and took it to her. She took a sip and made a face. The tea you were drinking smelled different. This isn't that tea, and there's not enough sugar. Very sensible woman. He's overboiled this tea. Yeah. I set my jaw, went to the kitchen and brought a spoonful of sugar and put it into a cup. I wanted to say, now stir it, diabetic, or must I do that for you too? But I stopped myself. She had always been lazy. To get her to move her body a bit, Daddy had never had a servant. Another thing that we shared with this family. But her desire to be served hand and foot had not abated. She made the basic rice and curry and it was tasteless. Lovely, intelligent woman. Cook badly, they won't ask you to cook. In the kitchen, she had one eye on the television. To avoid her cooking, Daddy would eat out every day and then come home. Until the time I got to the SSC, I never had any tea. Somehow I got it into my head that children don't drink tea. Common thing, no, in India? Children don't drink tea. Nor was I ever tempted to try. But then something happened to arouse my curiosity about it. I must have been 7 or 8 at the time. Late in the night, I was aroused from my sleep. At first, I thought it was the dog next door. Then I realized it was Ma's voice coming from the next room. I could hear, "Ah, no, please, enough." Daddy was growling. Were they fighting? At which point I will leave you. Thank you so much.
Coming soon, Damodar Mauzo and Jerry Pinto, and that is going to be a great treat. Thank you so much for everyone for being here. Thank you so much for starting the inaugural. Xavier, are you here? Please join us on stage, Xavier. Let's take a photograph. The fine translator of the book, Xavier Cotta, is here. I didn't notice him earlier. Please come, Xavier. Let's take a photograph, please, together. Friends, the inaugural Liberty of Light Festival's first day programming is almost over. As you know, the evening programs begin at the old GMC at approximately 6 o'clock. There are going to be some wonderful things on stage at the old GMC complex on the first floor, starting at 6 o'clock this evening. Tomorrow's program begins at 8:30 sharp with a heritage walk in Fontaniers. The program in this hall begins at 10 a.m. Please take a look outside. You have the posted new program. Congratulations, bhai. You mean so much to all of us, and you can be assured that your next book launch we will do in an even bigger way at the next Liberty and Light Festival of Goa. Jerry, you have just only a few months to finish the translation. Jerry has given the timeline. Congratulations. Please, let's take one photograph.
I just wanted to say one thing. When we started talking about the translation of the book, I told him the ones that I'm working on. I told him the schedules that I have. And I said, it's going to take time, but I'll do it next year by this time. And I got back the most beautiful email. It said, "Dear Jerry, I was really disappointed to hear that you're going to take so much time. But when my wife says that there is some time to the food coming to the table, I know I have to wait because I want to enjoy that food. And I know that good food takes time and good translations take time." It was the most elegant acceptance of a delay that I have met. It was beautifully written. Thank you very much.
Yes, Katore Baji, please, Jerry. Let's get to it.
Vivek, just a minute. Latecomer, my dear friend. At least maybe I saw him late. This is Xavier Cotta, my translator of most of my stories are translated by him, and I prefer his translations. So
Viva, viva.
Please cheer up for Xavier.
Yesterday, a translator friend of ours won the International Booker Prize. That is Daisy Rockwell with Gitanjali Shri. Next, I hope that we will get similar awards. This book deserves it. Please, it's on sale outside. Please get a copy. Bhai is around today and later for him to sign it for you. Congratulations again, Bhai. Thank you for inaugurating the first Liberty and Light Festival of Goa in this grand fashion. Viva, congratulations. Please hold the book.
And as an answer to, when people ask me, when young people ask me, what can I do? Things are dark. What can I do? When people ask me, the forces of darkness are gathering. What can I do? I say, what you can do is go out and support in a small way, in whatever way you can, the forces of light. Go out and buy a book by Mauzo. You will be supporting the forces of light. Thank you so much.
Maybe hold the book in front of you. No. He's the author. Thank you. Congratulations. Yes. There's someone else waiting to come in the podium. I have to return it to the store.